Stephanie Colin, I'm so glad to see you today.
Hello.
Are you doing good?
I am.
I'm so thankful you decided to have a conversation with me today. It sounds like God's been really working in your life and doing some big things, right?
Oh, he has.
I feel like it's such a gift that you've been given to see the fruit of what you've been praying for your daddy.
The closure and the joy that I have now, the gift that God gave me,
Yes.
is something that's invaluable. I mean, he gives us blessings every day, but the prayer I had for my dad for years because of his sinful actions against my mom and our family, and basically just walking out on all of us and just without a care.
So being abandoned is like one of the worst things that we have to walk through in our life. And that's why we all really need to know that our God never, ever abandons us. Because people will leave, they will give up. And we don't control that. It's not our choice.
Right, but it's almost like he does refine you in the fire.
Yeah.
So it's like, my dad did that, but God is my father.
Yeah.
You know, so it brought me closer to him and reliant on him.
That's right.
And brought me stronger in my prayer life. And the prayers I prayed for my dad, he honored those.
Yes.
He fulfilled them.
That's awesome. And you got to see it. He had everything that the world could give you. He had everything that he thought he was going after.
I mean, everyone in Denver knew who he was, and he had lots of money and the big house and the family.
All the stuff that the
should
devil,
fill the hole.
Satan, just dangles in front of us and says, oh, God doesn't want you to have that. And that's a lie too, but we choose the way we want to go a lot of the time. And your dad was choosing the way he wanted to go and going after those things.
You know what? The consequence of sin for him was extreme.
Yes.
And it was public and humiliating and destroyed a bunch of families, and it came to a violent, end, and he went to prison for it. He walked in, and seeing him after 2 or 3 years was, okay, there he is. And he couldn't look at me at first.
And you told me you hugged him and you hugged tight and he just patted you at first. What about at the end? Did you get a hug at the end?
I did.
Oh, praise God.
And through that, God gave me the greatest gifts of my dad actually speaking the word over me.
Because he has found God in prison. It's a horrible place to be, and he told you a lot about that.
Right.
But your prayers were also, that was the view he wanted you to see too, like, here's your dad, I haven't forgotten. Faithful prayers of a righteous woman avail much. And I think that that's a word for us all, is do not cease in praying. Do not cease in doing good, because I have a plan. He has a plan. And it's in his hands. It's not in ours. And he will make sure it's completed. And even to those tiny little details that you really needed right now, because you're going through some stuff, you're struggling, and just trying to get through that, and your dad being in prison has just been a hard season, right?
Yeah, it has, but what was so beautiful in those hours was the emotion, the weeping, the knowledge, the treating me actually like his daughter, which he hadn't done, and just his love for me, not about his circumstance. He is relying fully on Christ every day just to make it through.
Yeah.
And actually, God changed my heart the morning walking into the prison because of all the things my dad had done. He gave me the thing I've been praying, please let me forgive him, change my heart.
Yes.
And he did. The love, the forgiveness, everything was redeemed. I feel like it was one of the greatest gifts he's given me.
So I love the word redeemed. And I found so many scriptures lately about the pit, that we are in a pit of nothingness without him. But he pulls us, and I can just physically see him pulling, because with me, at least, I was such a mess. I had my own mind. I really gloried in being strong and doing my own thing and doing it better than my parents and doing all of that. So he really had to drag me out of that cruddy pit and set me down, covered in tar, and then he just cleans me off and he puts all my sins behind him. And to me, like, it doesn't matter how we live. Our lives are to be light in dark places. How much darker could it be? So really, because of your prayers for your father, he was redeemed. He was pulled out of a pit of darkness and put in a place where he could be a bright light. And hopefully to people that go back into the world that have an impact too. And he will probably not know till he gets to heaven, but he will see that.
But who else could redeem a relationship after all that
and
damage?
redeem the relationship between you two.
You know, and it's funny because not every day going forward is going to be amazing, but he gives us those times that now I can reflect back on that.
But I also want to leave with the story of your dad was a story of standing in faith for a long time, not standing in that place where he was, not having to live with the results of his sin in your life. You moved away from that, but you continued to stand on
Regardless
his word,
of what he did, I prayed.
Regardless, and you prayed. And prayer moves mountains, and we know that. And now you have the evidence of that too. So even as you're going through things now in your life, you can rely on that. Never stop praying for those that God's put in your life. Never stop praying. You certainly need to remove yourself sometimes.
Yes.
But
he is the truth.
He's the truth, and he's the light, and that hope will never fail. And I trust in that, and you do too.